Hello everybody and welcome back. This will be my last report until Friday as it's Yule for me tomorrow, so I'm going to take some time to spend with the family. But before I go, I have an account for you. The Cleadon Bigfoot accounts, Hairy Geets, North East England, 2002-2003. Now, a couple of interesting reports from the Cleadon area in the North East of England, situated between the countryside and shore, with an abundance of resources and cover. Cleadon would seem an ideal place for an encounter. But to have two separate witness reports that reported similar accounts at the same time to two separate sources speaks to the fact that something 7 foot tall and hairy that looks like a man is walking the country roads of Cleadon. Locally, it's known as the Geet, which is another of the names used to describe an upright, hairy, bipedal figure. And a couple of the researchers from the northeast have advised me that geet is a common term for large, a very large. So a hairy geet is a very large, hairy something that's large. So, I don't know, but this is what the witnesses had to say. The Cleadon Geet, 2002 to 3. What happened took place when I was 16. I'm from Whitburn and had seen my girlfriend who lived in East Baldon. It's a bit of a walk, so I used to catch the last bus, which was around 11 p.m, and I often used to miss it, meaning I'd have to walk home, which took around an hour. My well-used and normal route was to walk along Cleadon Lane, a dark country road heading into Whitburn. It was a bit overgrown with no lighting, so you couldn't see clearly, and it was a bit of an eerie place to walk. On one occasion there was a clear sky and the moon was shining. Not a full moon, but enough so that it wasn't pitch black and I could see up ahead as I was walking along, heading to the bus stop. About 100 metres up from the Charlie Hurley Centre, next to the sign for Whitburn, I was caught short and needed to use the bushes as a bathroom. I stopped to pee and moved over towards the bushes so I wasn't visible to anybody. To my complete shock, the bushes opened up in front of me. They just parted and this massive, skinny, hairy thing came lunging out at me. I jumped back and I remember screaming in shock because it was so tall and hairy. And I can only describe it as looking like Chewbacca from the Star Wars, but thinner. It scared me witless. I'm stood there with all my tackle out, not knowing, and I just ran. I turned and ran quicker than I've ever been before, and I could hear its thuds behind me for maybe 10 metres. It clearly did not want me there. I didn't stop to look back, and my feet didn't touch the deck. I thought I was running for my life, to be honest. I can honestly say I would have beaten Linford Krista at that moment in time. I never stopped until I got home, which is next to the army camp for me. I told people over and over. To be honest, I never shut up about it. I went on for weeks and weeks to my friends, half of who believed me because I'm not a storyteller, and half who laughed and didn't believe me. I returned on my bike the next day and tried to piece together what had happened. I noticed that the bushes went down into a ditch and realised from the size of the ditch that this thing must have been about 7 foot tall. And I think maybe I peed on it. As the years have passed, some people still bring up my experience and chuckle about it. But when I saw your article, I ripped it out and showed it to them, and they couldn't believe it. What they no doubt struggled with was the fact that the more people who claimed to have seen the creature, the less likely it was that the beast was imaginary. And to be honest, it's very real. Now, a growing number of people have claimed to have seen the Geet, and no matter how bizarre or unbelievable it might seem, we are forced to take what they say seriously. Devoted skeptics will have already filed the Geet in their daft and impossible drawer, pointing out that a flesh and blood creature of this size simply couldn't live in our locality without being seen far more frequently. Well, I can answer that question for you. They are being seen frequently, and subscribers to this channel will know that we constantly have new reports coming in all the time. But in any event, no amount of sceptical posturing will make the witnesses deny what they know they saw, as it's hard to imagine how a witness can mistake something else for an 8 foot tall, hairy, ape like monster. We are not seeing badgers. What we are reporting are tall, 7 foot, hairy, looks like a man, crossed with an ape, hides in the bushes in the woods. And then we have the second account, the Cleadon Wildman, 6th of the 10th, 03, which, if you remember, the first account was at a very similar time. I was in Cleadon, in the northeast, when I encountered what seemed to be a large bipedal creature. I was visiting a friend in the area and I decided to walk to the local store to purchase some wine to supplement the meal she was about to cook for us. The night was dark, so it's hard to tell exactly. However, it appeared to have a thick fur coat. I estimate that I was around 50 yards from the creature as it walked along the edge of a tree line before it was startled and ran back into the trees. I only came to be walking in the area as a shortcut between a colleague's house and the local store. I'd been on various websites looking for other sightings in this area, but have so far been fruitless in my search for a similar encounter. It was solidly built on what looked like a thick, long fur coat. The encounter was very brief, so unfortunately, there is not much else to report. Although there was another person in the vicinity at the time, and I believe they were taking their dog for a walk, which is possibly what startled the creature. Although by the time I'd walked around a waterlogged area between us, they had gone along with the creature itself. Now, Cleadon is a suburban village in South Tyneside, north east, in the county of Tyne and Wear, and the historic County Durham. Cleadon Hills Nature Reserve is a hidden gem. Even some people who have lived in the region for many years have never seen it. They've never entered the country park or the reserve. One of the reasons is that it's at the top of a single track road and it isn't signposted, so you're unlikely to just happen across it. There are a couple of main entrances, and one requires climbing a low stile from an entrance on Sunnyside Lane, which is on the other side. It's through the Kissing Gate near the old farm gate. Sadly, there are no longer grazing cows to keep down the grass, so it can be a little jungle-like at times, but there are well-trodden paths to follow. It is part of a walking trail, and it's possible to follow the walking trail to the coast of Whitburn. It's listed as an area of outstanding natural beauty and does feature striking limestone outcrops, which will no doubt will contain a cave or two. So if you're out in the Cleadon area, and my friend Chris is usually out around there. He actually did an area research for me, Chris Mitchell, a couple of years back. He went to Cleadon on this very road and took some photographs for me of the area. And it's a strange little area. It's quite urban, but there are swampy areas and there's wooded areas and there's lots of places that people don't visit. And as I said before, it's situated basically between field and shore, so the food sources are ample. But you know, your skeptics will tell you there is not enough food in the UK. Well, that's simple. The very simple answer to that one is they eat the same food that your ancestors ate before people opened shops. It's as simple as that. The food is out there. It's just we don't know what it is anymore. Well, some of us don't know what it is anymore. And there's lots of courses online and lots of people on YouTube who can help you with that. If you learn one wild food a month in 12 months, you'll know 12. That's the way I do things. So see if you can. Start with your average dandelion and your plantains and the things that you find on every croft, and look them up and see what you can eat them in, what you can make with them, medicines. They're all kinds, you know, they're all out there on the fields just waiting to be found. And have a very happy Yule, and may all your blessings be wonderful. It's a time of rebirth, to put things behind you and restart again. And it's one of our very earliest um, you can't even say a religious holiday, can I? It's a tradition that I like to keep, and many others. And if you're listening, Cars, have a very happy Yule, and I hope you and the Witchlings are absolutely fantastic. And I will be back on Friday, everybody. So have fun, enjoy your work's dues, don't get too drunk, and a Merry Christmas for those that celebrate it, and a Happy Hanukkah to Andy. Until next time, good night.